Jim Ryan still trying to block the Xbox Activision Blizzard by going to Brussels and complaining to the EU. And PlayStation Stars was supposed to be a rival to Microsoft Rewards, but they are doing some weird things that is making this program look very bad. The Xbox Activision Blizzard deal has gone to the EU. They are now looking at this and seeing whether they want to approve this or continue to a stage 2 of review for the deal itself. And now we have Jim Ryan flying over to Brussels to express his concern about Xbox's acquisition of Activision Blizzard. This is just another step in PlayStation doing everything they can to try and block this deal from going through, because quite frankly, they are probably terrified as to what this is going to mean for the PlayStation platform, with Call of Duty being their biggest moneymaker. Recently, we just saw the Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 beta being the biggest in the history of the game in terms of people playing, the amount of time they've played, and all of that type of stuff. And we know Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 is going to be the biggest Call of Duty to date. It usually is every single year, but I think this one more so than ever is going to be up there with an exponential growth, with exploding player bases, all of that type of stuff because of the many factors. This is a very exciting Call of Duty, has a lot of nostalgia. When the first one came out, it was a cultural phenomenon, and the game is continuing to grow, and they're releasing Warzone 2.0. And as soon as this deal goes through, all of the money that PlayStation should be making off of this game, and they would usually be paying royalties to Activision Blizzard, they're going to start paying all these royalties to Xbox, where they could just reinvest that into the Xbox ecosystem, into the Xbox platform, and into Xbox Game Pass. So for those reasons, they're probably sitting there terrified, like I said, as to what this is going to mean for PlayStation. And we have Jim Ryan here, who reportedly flew to Brussels to meet with the EU and express the same concerns that he's already been expressing to the CMA and to Brazil over this deal not going through. And one of the funniest things that Jim Ryan has talked about is just having Call of Duty games on equal terms going forward, which is something that isn't even occurring right now with PlayStation having the marketing rights. So that alone is very hypocritical of PlayStation to want those things when themselves weren't doing that and haven't been doing that for years since getting those marketing rights in 2015. Now, when it comes to the EU, they have until November 8th to decide whether they want to clear this deal to go through, or if they choose to enter this into a second, more detailed investigation stage. If the CMA entered into a second stage, you probably could guess that the EU is going to continue to look into this further. Microsoft is going to have to prove to all of these regulators that this isn't going to affect competition, and I think that's going to be pretty easy to do. The biggest thing here is that they look at all of this feedback from companies like Sony, and if they're just taking that for face value, they are going to have concerns, because I'm sure Sony is presenting something to them that could be convincing if you don't actually look into what is going on within the industry. This other side of the coin is that Microsoft is going to be presenting their side, which will also be very convincing. And I think the Microsoft side, when it comes to the Activision Blizzard deal and how this isn't going to hinder the industry in terms of competition, in fact, it's probably going to help more people being able to play and access these games, is going to be a lot more powerful than the stuff that PlayStation is trying to sell to them. So we'll see how all of this plays out, but in my opinion, it's almost like PlayStation is hurting themselves more by continuing to do these types of things, because the chances that they're going to block the deal probably relatively low. The chances that they're hurting their public perception is continuing to increase as more people are seeing what PlayStation is trying to do here. And then if you just look further into some of the practices that PlayStation does, you would be asking yourself, why would they be trying to say these things? Why would they be trying to stop this deal when they do all of the things that they are against themselves? So a little while back, PlayStation announced that they are releasing the PlayStation Stars program, which is literally an exact copy of the Microsoft Rewards that you get on Xbox, where you play games via Game Pass, you play games in the Xbox store, and you get points and rewards to go ahead and then purchase things like more Game Pass subscriptions. They also have a huge list of many other things that you can get access to with those points. And it's an incredible service. It's a great reward system. It doesn't take forever to accumulate a bunch of points to be able to get stuff. And it's just another perk of being within the Xbox ecosystem. Something that not a lot of people always talk about, but it's a great feature added. And PlayStation, they saw this and they copied it, and they announced PlayStation Stars, which I always say this is why competition is great. This is why you want both companies to succeed, because if one company does something that's good for consumers, and they're seeing that it's taking off and it's getting more market share because of these features, you're going to have the other company coming in and trying to do those things, which for the end user, for the consumer, is always just a good thing. So PlayStation Stars, they announced their program, they released it in Japan, and there are some weird things going on with this service that really kind of takes away, I guess, from the excitement that people may have had for PlayStation Stars. And that is that within their point system, they are giving improved customer support to certain people who reach level 4 within the PlayStation Stars program. And to get access to this level of support, this, I guess, exclusive level of support, you have to actually go and you have had to have purchased 4 games within the PlayStation Store and have 128 rare trophies, which is an absolutely absurd thing to add into a loyalty program from a company that already lags behind in customer service, especially even when you're comparing it to Xbox customer service. I've dealt with both, and by far, the Xbox customer service is better. I made videos about this when the Xbox Series X first came out. There was something wrong with my Series X, and this was maybe a week or two after the initial launch date. I got into the customer service really fast. On a Monday, I sent back my Xbox Series X and I got a brand new console by the early morning Thursday. Just a couple of days I had to wait during a launch period where the demand for these consoles were crazy and people were fighting to be able to pick one of these consoles up. With PlayStation, however, I've had much worse service over the years in terms of trying to get things fixed and getting things resolved through their customer service lines. And now, not only are they going to be doubling down on that customer service, they're going to be giving an advantage to people who spend more money within the PlayStation Store. All of this in culmination with them going to all of these market authorities and trying to block a deal with Activision Blizzard and Xbox and saying it's for competition, saying it's for giving people the best experience and not hurting the industry when PlayStation continues to do things like this. I think this is one of the weirdest things that they decided to do. I don't know how this is going to go across the world when they release it to everybody else, how people in Japan are going to take it. But I think this is an actually terrible thing that they've added to PlayStation Stars. And we're getting more information on some other weird things they're doing for this service, where some information came out that they may have an invite-only diamond tier within PlayStation Stars. Now, this comes via some data mined info that was found within the PlayStation mobile app. When we think about mobile apps, the one thing that PlayStation does do very well is they actually have a great mobile app, but it says here with some text that was found within it, in an endless sea of stars, it seems like there's nowhere to hide, but you wouldn't be here if you let challenges like that stop you. Welcome to level 5. Now, we don't know what this means in terms of getting to level 5. Are you going to have to go to the PlayStation Store and buy more games and spend more money? Because it almost seems like they are releasing this thing to kind of play off of people's want to continue to get trophies, and to continue to get those trophies, you're going to have to spend more money within the PlayStation Store and make sure that you're buying digital games only. Because that's another question. What happens if you're somebody like me on my PS5 is I mainly buy physical games for PlayStation because I buy their games, their first party games, play them, then I resell them. Am I not going to get access to any of these PlayStation Star tiers because I am purchasing these physical games? It almost seems like that's the way that they're going with this, and it's another way of keeping people closed within the PlayStation app, within the PlayStation Store, because that's how you make the most amount of money for these ecosystems. It is a very odd program, the way that they are rolling it out, the way that they are adding these tiers. It almost seems like they're branding it as this is something that's going to help the gamer and help the players, when obviously when you're looking at locking customer service, a feature that should be equal to every single person who has PlayStation, who has spent money within the PlayStation ecosystem at all. If you just purchased the PS5 and literally never played a game on your PS5, you still get the same access to customer service as everybody else. Locking that behind a paywall is absolutely absurd, and hopefully they don't add more weird things like this to the diamond tier of PlayStation Stars. So right off the bat, yes, they copied Microsoft Rewards with giving a service that is going to allow you to earn stuff for playing games, but at the end of the day, the Microsoft Rewards service is still a far better experience, and we've seen that across all of these features that PlayStation has tried to copy throughout this generation: backwards compatibility, the rewards, all of the quality of life features that they can't emulate on the PS5. Everything right now is better on Xbox. And I think that is an objective truth when you look at right now both of these consoles in comparison. Even the price of the Xbox Series X in a lot of places now is cheaper. And PlayStation Stars was supposed to be a rival to Microsoft Rewards, but they are doing some weird things that is making this program look very bad. But that's it for me, guys. Let me know your thoughts on Jim Ryan going to the EU and complaining about the Activision Blizzard deal. And what do you think about these PlayStation Star tiers? If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that thumbs up button. If you're new here and you liked what you saw, consider hitting that subscribe button. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for your support, and I'll catch you in the next video.
We'll be right back.